Well, welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkissoon. Thanks again for staying with us. And we end on a musical note, a musical album, Quattro. We're speaking with Rahil Babooram. Good morning.
Babooram, actually.
Babooram, how are you?
Fine.
It's actually incorrect on the rundown. Good morning, Rahil. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Now, you're a musician extraordinaire. You play a number of instruments.
That's right.
How many instruments do you play?
Well, I would say at least 5.
5?
Yes.
Okay. And we're talking about the launch of your 4th album.
That's correct.
In terms of this album, how different is it to everything else? And how long have you been a musician?
Well, I have been a musician, I could say, since I was 11 years old. I'm 33 right now. I grew up in a home where my dad was playing guitar, and my parents were both listening to music of the 60s and 70s, Beatles, Pink Floyd, Billy Joel, all that kind of stuff. So this is the music I was influenced by, and by about 11 I decided, let me learn the guitar as well. And over the years I learned each other instrument and started writing my own songs.
Now, the music, the compositions, the producing, all of that, what's your team like?
Well, I'm influenced by quite a number of things. One aspect is a spiritual aspect. I'm influenced by the Krishna consciousness philosophy with Swami Prabhupada, ISKCON. I'm also influenced by veganism because I'm a vegan.
I realized on his guitar there are actually messages, go vegan.
That's right. So one of these billboards shows that, you know, I hope they can zoom in. And below here is the Hare Krishna mantra also.
Right.
You know, based on the Bhagavad Gita's teachings.
So you can hold up. I know that they're trying to zoom in, but these messages, and when did you start doing that? Why do you put the messages on your guitar?
Right. Well, the thing about it is that when I was like about 14, I started being interested in Krishna consciousness because of George Harrison and his song, My Sweet Lord. I was wondering, what's this Hare Krishna thing about? So I read a book called Chant and Be Happy, which had conversations with George, John Lennon, Yoko Ono about this thing. And I learned that so much from there about the soul, about spiritual life. And at a young age, I didn't know what to do except to chant and to try to follow what I read. But I didn't meet the devotees until about 1996. And in 97, I started writing my first album, which was this album called Gauravani. And this is fully spiritual. Okay. And this was actually finally recorded in 1999. And since then I've been playing live and doing more of my own music. Until the second album, I'm talking a little fast because I know our time is limited.
We have like very limited time, so we're trying to discover your entire musical career.
Over prompting things, you know. So this is the second album called Simply Rahil, which was released in 2005. And this album delves into the...
But in the album, you only play the guitar, even though you play a number of instruments.
No, well, actually, on each album, I play all instruments. Okay. One by one, mix them, and all the vocals, all the songs, everything.
Ah, okay,
so
okay.
It's a one-man band.
A one-man band. Now, your music is a little different to what most people would think young people would be interested in.
I would think so.
Why did you choose this path?
Well, the thing about it is that it's all because of what I was influenced by growing up, the kind of music I was listening to as a child compared to what was going on. So growing up in the 80s then, I would be influenced by the 80s radio music, but also the music of the 60s and 70s due to my parents. And it's not only spiritual music I do, as I was trying to say, and Simply Rahil. I have quite a number of topics, including about girls, relationships.
You write all of your music?
Yeah, everything myself.
When did you start writing?
Seriously, when I was like 16, that's what it was, 1996, 97, something.
Did you have any formal training?
Yes, actually, when I was 10, 11, you know, the usual piano lessons kind of thing. And then guitar, well, the guitar I really taught myself because I had the books at home and...
Self-taught guitar.
Yes.
I don't know if many people can boast of that accomplishment in this life.
And actually all instruments, I would say it's self-taught because it's more observation and natural inclination, you know.
If you had to describe your song to anybody, what would you say it is?
I would say it's orange. That's
but your sound, you know, everyone can describe their sound.
Yes.
As in, you interview any artist and they can say, well, my sound is basically a combination or a marriage of this genre and that. How would you describe your sound?
I have been called alternative, but the reason I use the word orange because of the uniqueness of what I do and the variety, because it's rock with the influences of my influences, but also so many things in between. So I just use the word orange, and it has been used, you know, for me. People know when I say orange, it's Rahil.
What has been the response to your music thus far? I mean, obviously you're in the process of doing a fifth album.
Yes, actually. What has happened is that this third album, Orange, was released in 2006, but these were like some of my first songs ever written. like 1996. Quattro has been on the stove for about 6 years before release because of studio problems beyond my control. So it was finally released in February, and therefore in all that delayed time, a fifth album has been being composed in that time that I've been...
How different will the fifth album be to any other album that you've put out?
It's basically still me, but a little older, a little wiser. And the topics remain generally the same, but perspective slightly different, a little more mature angle.
Now, we talk about the music as in the instrumental composition. Do you also sing on the album?
Yes, everything is complete. All vocals.
So you do all of the music, all of the instruments, yes, and all of the singing as well?
Yes. My number one influence is Sir Paul McCartney, who does that same thing on a lot of his albums.
Very few people know that, but yes, that is true. Yes. So looking at the next step in your career, do you only do this, or do you have another job?
Well, right now I am actually doing this fully because I'm so excited about it. I've been granted such facility to do it so diligently and full-time, you know, by the Lord's grace.
A lot of musicians believe that their music carries a message with it.
Yes.
Would you say that your music has a message, and what would that message be?
Well, the message would be a few. I have three main messages. The three main messages would be on my guitar, actually. Go vegan, you know, because...
Save the planet.
Yeah, but not just the planet, but the animals and human beings, you know, because by doing violence to any being, you know, it comes back due to the law of karma, action and reaction. So by killing an innocent animal, there's suffering in the world as a result. So people wonder why there are wars, famine, crime, and the results of killing animals is what we experience in human society. Yes.
Now, also, as we wrap this interview, I know that if you're hearing a music bed, that is some of his music. Looking at your next album, you talk about it being the next level in terms of the influences and what you've learned.
Right.
As you continue with your career as a musician, has there ever been a point that you thought that you will enter mainstream in terms of what is considered to be acceptable?
Well, the thing about it is that this year has brought about a lot more publicity. Like up to yesterday, I was in The Guardian, your sister paper, and what happened is that there's this show called The Indigenous, which runs on a frequency 91.1 Talk City, and it's a weekly radio chat where songs of so many genres, local music, which they call underground, comes to the forefront on that weekly show. So I've had a few songs in the top 5 in the last month or 5 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yes, like up to last night, another one charted and another one was released. Like from the new album, actually, you know, each week.
So something, and where can you get the CDs?
Well, the thing about it is that if you're online, you could go onto my website, which is Rahil, RAHIL.ISCWOL.net. Or you could
RahilIsCool.net. Okay,
yeah,
that's pretty easy to remember. Now, we just have about a minute till we wrap this interview, and I would say my goodbyes at this time. So we've actually come to the end of this edition of the Early Morning Show. On behalf of everyone attached to the EMS, I wish you a safe and blessed day, and I will see you tomorrow morning, God's willing. And Rahil is actually going to take us out, or maybe some music, as we go to the 8 a.m. newscast. Rio Rambley is with us this morning. Good morning, Rio.
All right. So what I'd like to say before I start is that anyone wanting to find me online, you could just type my name, Rahil Babooram, like in Facebook or Google, and they could send me a message and we can connect there. And regarding buying the albums or listening, everything is online promotionally. So feel free, YouTube, everything is there.
Very nice.
So what I'm going to do here is actually a kind of medley of the 4th album, a little piece of each song. So this is a medley.
About a minute again.
So. Oh, okay. Well, I'll try my best.
kind of feeling blue. Just like that you came along and chased